Now, the ruh is its own kind of intellect. The brain is its own kind of intellect. And we understand that because we all have a brain and we've been using it in school or been forced to use it. So we use it all the time. And business people have to use it, doctors have to use it, lawyers have to use it. Everybody has to use their brain all the time to do these things, right? And in life you have to analyze, problem identify, find solutions. But the ruh has a different kind of intellect. We'll call it a spiritual intellect. The Quran describes the ruh's intellect as the heart. The term in the Quran for the spiritual intellect is what? The heart. So when people don't use their spiritual intellect, Allah says, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have hearts they don't understand with them. Listen to this. They have hearts they don't understand with them. And someone who doesn't understand the difference between alam al-amr and alam al-khalq comes to me and says, Ustadh, how come it says the heart thinks? The heart doesn't think, the brain thinks. The Quran is wrong about that, biologically speaking. Yes, Sylvester, you are right about that. The reason for that is the Quran is not talking about the physical heart. It's talking about the spiritual intellect. And what word did Allah give to the spiritual intellect? Qalb. He gave it the meaning, the qalb. And when people stop using their spiritual intellect, He says their hearts have become hard. Or He says their hearts are covered, they're not using them. Or their hearts are even dead. He even says, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَ لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ. In this Quran, there's a real reminder for someone who actually has a heart. You could be like, but Ustadh, everybody has a heart. Yeah, but some people have abandoned their spiritual intellect. They've abandoned their other heart. They're only using this one, not this one. You understand? Okay. Now, it's analyzing. The spiritual heart is also analyzing. But it's not analyzing for food, and it's not analyzing for shelter or clothing or more money. It's not analyzing for that. It's analyzing to fill some other kind of void. Because the physical body gets hungry, the physical body gets thirsty, the physical body has physical, sexual urges, the physical body wants to preserve itself, safety. Those are all needs of the physical body and the physical mind. But the spiritual heart is looking for spiritual food. So you're going to go have the best food with your friends, and you had a great time, but you're feeling an emptiness inside. And that's because your spiritual intellect is analyzing and saying, I didn't find what I was looking for. And then I'm going to go somewhere else and find it. And then I'm going to try to find it somewhere else and find it somewhere else. You guys should look up Abdullah Rothman if you don't know who that is. Abdullah Rothman, R-O-T-H-M-A-N. One of the most amazing human beings on this planet, by the way. So his story, listen to his story. I'll tell you a brief synopsis of his story. He comes from a family of, great psychologists and pioneers in psychology. And he became interested in the question of what is the soul. He just became interested in that question. What is it? And he's a white guy. And he doesn't come from a religious background at all. And he wants to understand the soul. So he says, okay, I'm going to look at psychology last. I'm going to look around the world for what people say about this thing they call the soul. So he spends time in a Hindu temple, living with a pandit, dressing like them, eating like them, like the whole 9 yards for a while, a year or more. Then he goes to some shaman in Jamaica and lives in the woods and fishes with a spear and lives among them. Then he spends time in like a Jewish seminary, and he spends time in the church, and he all over. Like, he didn't just go study this stuff. He wanted to get into their spiritual practices, their culture, wanted to understand it from the inside. And he was kind of all done with everything, and he came back to do his master's in psychology. And somebody asked him, did you do Islamic psychology? You look at Islamic spirituality? He goes, really? Islam? And he started looking into it, and he says, this is it. And he took Shahada. And he's head of the Islamic psychology program at Cambridge Islamic College. He studied under a sheikh in Sudan. He got married in Sudan. And mashallah, studied Arabic, studied psychology in depth. And just because of the analysis of the ruh, of wahi. is something inside him seeking. This is something Allah gave inside every human being. Some people are able to silence it more than others, right? But it's inside all of us.